Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new around here. My name is Ashley and I go by the Ashleyness here. We are playing Planet Zoo today, and this is my Esme Zoo, and this is our episode number 5. As you can see, we've made quite a lot of work and a lot of progress in on the zoo. Something I'm trying to do is really map out the zoo layout this round in hopes of making it more organized and more detailed. So what I've done is I've made these construction boxes around where I'm going to be placing things. And they're also labeled so I can remember what my plan was. So as you can see, I also have extended some of the pathing systems and so on to make it more clear. Here's an example of what we have going on. And today we are going to be building a gift shop and a restaurant today in this episode. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the restaurant, but first I want to show you that I did make these bathrooms, these restrooms, and I thought they looked really good. And so I just kind of want to show it off. As you can see, they're all labeled and they have some decals on them, and they just really blend in and they look great. So we're going to work on the food court first, and that's where we're going to begin the video. As you can see, I have it labeled so it's easy to remember the plan, and we're just gonna get into it. So we actually had some guests that kind of wandered in on my pathing system here, so I'm gonna just move them first. And I can see I have a little sign that's selected over there, so we're just gonna get rid of that. And you know, it's just that easy. I'm gonna delete the boundaries and then I'm just gonna get into it. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place down my food shops and my drink shops into this building section. As you can see, I already have the path work kind of figured out. Now, not all of them are already figured out, but this particular one was because I kind of knew I wanted to do it next. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue through with using the brick, the bamboo and the plaster, and the white painted brick in this build. And this is to make sure that we are continuing to be cohesive through the zoo. And there's the white brick. And then the bamboo, but I actually decided to use the this wood paneling instead, just to give it a little bit more dynamic look to it. Just searching for my roofing. And there we go. Now, I don't know what's going on, but sometimes they're not snapping together anymore. I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure if I have a setting that's not set or what's happening, but they're not snapping like they used to. And so it's kind of been a little bit of a challenge, as you may see throughout. But here I'm just doing some borders, some lining, so that it makes it look a little nicer and a little more divided. And I'm just going all the way around. And then I'm going to use this on several layers, so it makes it look a little bit nicer. And then here I'm just working on trying to find what I want to do for kind of like above the windows, just to make it a little nicer. I was going to do these, and then I didn't really like how they looked in the end. They just kind of didn't really blend in really well. And so I decided on something else, and then I was like, oh, maybe these would look good. I like these for a minute, and then because it kind of has that nice white and the brick, kind of the wood and stuff like that. But then it looked too much, and so I got rid of it. And then I settled on these awnings. So now we're gonna do some flooring. I'm gonna use the same kind of wood on the floor here. And then I did extend out onto this main path just to kind of make it look a little more dynamic. And down here we're going to start on the walls, the outside walls of the building. And I did like the idea of it kind of overlapping the wood to kind of look like maybe like a patio or like decking. And I'm trying to be mindful of the pathing so that there is pathing inside. And then just continuing through with the bamboo. Brick again. And then we're going to do the painted brick, the white painted brick on the top. I do find doing the layers, the different colors layered on the buildings make it look nicer. It just, I don't know, I just like it. I think it just looks nicer that way. I do decide to go ahead and take care of this part so it's not as tall. Get some doors in here. And then I'm going to go ahead and get some colors to go around the doors to make it look a little more cohesive. And I ended up with the plaster just because it was a little easier, but they were a little big, which was kind of tricky. Sometimes like you're working on it and it's like, oh my gosh, these are so big and I need the smaller pieces, and it just can be complicated, but it made it work. It worked out. I accidentally selected the door on this one, so that was easy fix, luckily. And yeah, so we're just chugging along. I'm gonna go ahead and stop narrating for the rest of this little bit, and then I'm gonna check in again once we transition over to our gift shop. Okie dokie, so now we are going to move along to our Sloth's gift shop. So the reason it's called Sloth Gift Shop is because I have added in a sloth enclosure to this gift shop. Now this gift shop is going to have many elements to it, but I mostly am going to do the shops. As you will see, I will add in the gift shop dynamics that have been added to the game, but they will not be functional. They're just purely for decoration. But before we get there, we're going to go ahead and do these. We're going to do the flooring so that I can see kind of where everything is supposed to be laid out. And again, this one has pathing already figured out because I knew it was going to be coming up next. So I decided to do stone inside of the enclosure instead of the wood. And yes, I know it's crooked. It's going to get fixed here in just a second. Once I can select it without selecting the enclosure. There we go. This does kind of overlap a little bit here, so it's going to be a little spazzy, but it does work out. You know, it makes it look nice. Whoops. There we go. So then we're just going to continue on, and we're going to go ahead and do this to make sure that we have no grass poking through. And then I decided that I didn't want these to look the same as the outside, so I am going to continue through with using the hard stone work. And I think it just gives a nice different like color variations and stuff like that. I do play around with the roofing system here, and I just kind of like, I have a hard time settling in on what I wanted. It did take a couple tries, and then it definitely look different at the end. So if you don't like it, it's okay. I didn't like it either. Yeah, as you can see, I keep fussing with it, and I finally settle on something, and then I eventually change it again. So you'll see at the end. You know, I think it's just a good example of like, sometimes you do things and you're like, I like it, and then you're like, I don't like it, and you can change it. You can change everything about your zoo. You don't have to stick with it just because you put it in there. You know, it's a dynamic thing. It's, you know, always changing and moving along, and you just make it work, you know, and if it stops working for you, then change it. And you're going to see an example of that, like I said, later on as this video progresses. So I felt like these needed some supports because it does look a little wonky. Just kind of hanging out there. And I decided to extend out with the bamboo to go ahead and continue on with our theme. And if you notice inside this enclosure, this walkthrough habitat, that it does have a lot of bamboo in it. And so it makes sense to have bamboo outside of it as well. Whoops, there we go. It's a little tricky to select it sometimes. And then I'm just continuing the bamboo through. And then I noticed we had a little population problem, so I fixed that. And then I wanted this back wall to be solid. And And I just changed it to that nice green, dark green that we've been working with. And you can see that mostly on this side. And then I wanted the ends to look be glass. And then I thought about doing it on this other side, but then I figured like it might be nice to actually have it be kind of vented through into the actual like gift shop. And I just do this glass roof here that's kind of opaque, so it's not like super like greenhouse-y. But it still lets a lot of light in, which is nice. And I'm just getting rid of the mesh on the ends. Fixing the glass a little bit here. Making little adjustments as we go. Trying to make sure it doesn't do that like fidgety, wobbly kind of thing. Just making a frame around the door. We're gonna get going on the outside of the building now. And as we do this, I'm gonna give you some fun facts on sloths. The brown-throated sloth is a species of three-toed sloth found in the Neotropical realm of Central and South America. It is the most common of the 4 species of three-toed sloth, and is found in the forests of South and Central America. Brown-throated sloths sleep 15 to 18 hours a day, and are active for only brief periods of time, which may be during the day, either the day or the night. Also, they can walk along the ground and even swim. They spend most of their lives in the high branches of trees. Adult animals are solitary except for raising young. The males have been observed to fight one another using their foreclaws. Brown-throated sloths inhabit the high canopy of the forest, where they eat young leaves from the wide variety of different trees. In the wild, the lifespan of adult brown-throated three-toed sloths is typically between 30 and 40 years. Back at our build, you can see that we are making good progress, and we are doing our painted brick again along the top. And yes, it's popping through a little bit with the roofing there, but we're gonna fix it. And then we're just continuing through with our brick, our red brick, which I had a little trouble because it was blending into the glass, but we fixed it, as you can see. We're just continuing all the way around. And then I decided to do these pillars to kind of make it look a little more interesting. We're just spreading them all the way around in our openings. And then just continuing through. Fixing our glass. And just continuing on. I did want this one to be very light and very airy feeling inside, but as you will see, it becomes very, very decorated at the same time. So it turns out really, really great. So I hope you stick around and keep watching. I know building isn't necessarily the most fun to watch, but it is worth it. In our next episode, we do build more habitats for the animals, so that's a little more exciting in my opinion. But because I know buildings can be a little more tedious to watch. But yeah, I hope you will continue to watch. I'm gonna go ahead and stop narrating for now, and you can enjoy some zoo music as it plays, and then we build, and it just creates this amazing structure. I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, we are nearing the end of the video now. We're just finishing up the outside of the building. I was trying to find decoration for around the ends of the name, but then I was like, eh. Anyway, we're gonna do a little quick tour. I still need to do the landscaping around here. This little platform there with the greenery around it is actually gonna be for our restaurant that we're gonna build soon. But yeah, let's just take a quick look and remind ourselves how amazing this turned out. Whoops. No, I really adore how well this looks. I think it looks very friendly and inviting. The idea is, you know, that you can come in and see sloths is really a cool idea. I think it's going to attract a lot of people. The greenery, you know, everything, the decals, I think it just looks so cool. And in comparison, yes, our little eatery thingamajig is not as vibrant. I probably will come back and do some edit work on it just to make it look a little more interesting. But in real life and realistically, it doesn't need to be very elaborate. You know, it serves its purpose very, very well. But I definitely love how our gift shop turned out. That's my favorite so far for our building that we have made. As we zoom out, you can see that we do have a lot more spaces to do. As I said, our next one we're going to be doing the animals, and so I definitely hope you come back and check out our next videos. But most of all, I hope that you are inspired and that you have a beautiful day, night, or whatever time it is for you. Bye!